Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Get ready with me whilst I explain some of the most traumatic experiences I had as a student nurse on placement. You better buckle and fasten your seats because boy, this is about to be something else. I'll tell you that for free. There was once a placement that I had where when I would show up as a student, they would just get me to do observations and personal care, which I have no issue doing, but not every single time that I'm on shift. It got to the point where whilst I was still on this placement, there were two international nurses who had joined similarly around the same time as me. And they came up to me one time and they was like, "Why? Are you a healthcare assistant?" All sassy and sarcastic. I then went on to talk to the ward manager, which is my next point. I spoke to the ward manager and I basically explained to her in a nice way as well. And I said to her how I feel like when I come on this placement, all I do is observations and that I wanted to learn more than just that. And you'll never guess what happened next. This woman starts shouting in my face in front of everyone that was on my placement. There was also another time where I was on placement. The matron had booked the healthcare assistants to go on for training, and he hadn't done it so that they had cover from somewhere else. So when the matron came down to check the ward to see how we were doing, my nurse in charge obviously explained to him like we're short on healthcare and this ward was very busy. And you know what the matron goes and says to the nurse in charge? Something along the lines of, "Oh, just use the student as the healthcare assistant." And he said this out loud in front of me whilst I was on placement as a student for 3 years. I noticed that there was a huge difference in the way that black students were treated to the white students. There was a couple of times where I was on placement and I noticed that the white students were shown things and taught things that weren't shown to me. And that's my opinion. That's basically what it felt like. Maybe I'll make sure you ate. I had this patient that I received. Patient goes to me, "Oh, nurse, I want to tell you something." And he's like, "I want to tell you a joke." The man goes to me, "Oh, when I used to work in Kenya and it would get dark at night, something along these lines, all I could see was the black people's eyes and teeth." What the hell? And this man starts laughing.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Oh, and by the way, if you're enjoying this video, please like, comment and subscribe so that I can afford to get therapy. So there was a placement I was at and it was me and another lady nurse and we had male patients. And there was one male patient that we had and he was moving quite erratically. The nurse in charge is aware. He continues to move erratic to the point where patients are even scared. Everyone's telling me to go back to the nurse in charge and go and tell the nurse in charge that the patient is being erratic and that we are scared. Once I do that, the nurse in charge literally just like brushes me off. Less than 5 minutes later, you literally cannot make this up. The patient hits me.
Oh my God, bro.
Like, I shouldn't even laugh because it's not even it's not a laughing matter. I can't lie, Mac, you ate with this lip gloss. Final point is, when I was a student and I was on placement, there was a time where it was me and two other nurses. The two other nurses not being black. Well, one of them was half black, if you want to be specific. We're in a room with a patient and I noticed that that patient was being nice to the two nurses, but when the patient would look at me, like the patient would start screwing me or looking me up and down, and I didn't understand the reason why. So those two nurses ended up leaving the room to go and do something, and so it left me and the patient together, and I wanted to clear the animosity, you know, wanted to make things a little bit less awkward. So I started making conversation. If someone screws at you, yeah, and looks you up and down, don't make conversation with them. Don't be like me. So I make conversation with her and I'm just like, you know, small talk. I'm like, "Oh, you look so nice. Like your skin looks so tanned." And I put my arm up against hers. I'm like, "Oh, have you been on holiday?" You know what this woman goes and says to me? Looks me dead in the eyes, and you know what she says? She looks at my skin and she goes, "Are you trying to call my skin dirty?" some of the experiences that I went through as a student nurse. And I made this video because I know that there are other student nurses who are currently on placement or who have done placement or could not finish placement because it's hell on earth. Placement is hell on earth. Like, I became depressed, I became anxious, like I had to get therapy. And it got to the point where when I would wake up to go to placement, I would vomit before going in. If you offered me £1 billion, I would not do it. If you told me that, you know what, if you held a gun to my head and told me to go and complete another 3 years of placement or you are going to kill me, I would take the gun and I would shoot myself happily. And I would smile whilst doing it. That's how bad it was. Like, I will never do it again. I'm so sorry. And people that are on placement right now, you are God's strongest soldiers because you might as well just go on an army field if you want. If that's what you like, that's what placement is the equivalent of. And personally, I think that universities, the NHS, placement organisers or whatever, those, you know, the student placement reps we have, they all need to be investigated. Because there is corruption that is going on in placement. Students are being overworked. Students are being treated differently. So much going on. Any students watching this, like, keep going. You have got this. And if you think this is bad, just join the NHS. Just joking. Any ex-students or any students watching right now, I would really love it if you guys commented down below and shared any of your experiences, or if you need any advice, just comment down below and I got you. But yeah, please comment, like, subscribe. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and please join me again next week, Saturday at 6 p.m. for your next motherfucking video. See you guys later.